What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Mixed Doubles Podcast. We're your hosts, Maggie Robinson
and Josh Smythe-Macaulay.
We're former D1 athletes and co-workers in a major professional sports league with a passion for all things women's sports.
All opinions stated here are our own and have no affiliation with our employer whatsoever. With that, Maggie, let's get our weekly update, our triathlon update. How are we doing? How are things going?
Okay, so for context, we are a month out from my first half Ironman, which is actually terrifying to say.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it's a long way. So it's a 1.2 mile swim, 56-mile bike, and then a half marathon, back to back to back. We're stacking them up. But I went on my long bike ride today because I have more time on the weekends. And I've never done more than 30 miles. And so I was like, I'm going to crush 40 today. Like, I'm going to get past this 30-mile mark. And I get literally right to 30. And I'm like, oh, I'm feeling good. This is awesome. I hit a rock and literally ate so much shit that my bike like spun the handlebars around and wedged under the frame of the bike.
Oh my God.
I ran over like a plastic post on the road. It was not cute.
That rock didn't want to see you win.
It was like 30 miles is all we're going to do.
That's crazy.
Yeah. If soccer taught me one thing, it's how to fall well.
Well, let's get into our next segment. That, big plays.
And big players. All right. My big player, this is a hometown Nashville local. This is Gresham Walsh, who just set the world record in the 100-meter butterfly at the U.S. Olympic trials in Indianapolis in the prelims, not even in the finals. Like, this was the prelims just to like see who makes the next heat. This girl goes and sets the world record in the 100-meter butterfly. Have you ever done butterfly before, Josh?
Yes. When I was like maybe 11 and I was in a summer swim league.
Butterfly is the hardest stroke in my opinion because it's like such an unnatural movement. You look like you're doing the worm underwater and like your arms have to come up.
Yeah.
I'll say I was quite good at it when I was 10 and I would beat all the 13-year-olds.
Okay.
I don't think I'd beat Gretchen Walsh because she just set the world record, but it was amazing to see her do that and the video of it. I teared up a little bit. I got like so emotional watching her look at the screen and see world record next to her name. We love to see a woman win. So
that's awesome. Hometown hero for you for sure.
For sure.
The butterfly is so cool. I feel like the butterfly is the one where you get the coolest pictures. Like,
yes, they're like up out of the water, like levitating.
Chest is up.
And they're like jacked too.
Yeah, they look majestic. They look majestic. Love the butterfly. I wish I was better at it. It was not for me. We'll keep it there. But you know who it was for? It was for Katie Ledecky. I'm actually not sure if she ever did the butterfly.
That's wrong. It's freestyle.
She's more of a long distance person. It was, give me credit. That's a good transition if she did the butterfly.
No, she doesn't do butterflies. She just freestyle.
I know.
But yes, it would have been. I will give you credit. That was her. Okay.
Katie Ledecky, 7-time Olympic gold medalist, is my big player this week. Why? Because she absolutely beasted and feasted again and again and again. She's heading to her 4th Olympics after winning the 400-meter freestyle in the U.S. Olympic trials this past week, going under 4 minutes. She continues to win. She continues to dominate. It's so ridiculous at this point how good she is.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen that list of records that she's broken, and it's like her all top, like, I think what?
Top 20 is just like Ledecky. She's been going since she was 15. This is her 4th Olympics.
Yeah.
Balling out at 15 and now she's 27, which is when a lot of people hit their peak. No, she's been consistent from 15 to 27.
She's amazing. She's, I think, the 8th woman to go to 4 Olympics now. Wow. So rare air. But let's go into updates around the industry. Another great name, Chloe Kim. Chloe Kim is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in snowboarding. She's dope. Fun story about her. We thought she was going to come to Columbia our freshman year because she's around our age.
Yeah.
So we thought she was going to pull up. I don't know if she ended up going to college. I don't think she did because she didn't need to.
Yeah.
But the rumor was Chloe Kim was going to come to Columbia. Chloe Kim can correct me if that's true or not.
Chloe, come on the pod. Let's chat. Yeah, we'd love to have you on.
I wish she did, but she's doing great things. Like I said, Olympic gold medalist already, and now is investing in what is going to be a really cool, new, innovative X Games league. So the X Games, they do extreme sports, your snowboarding, cycling, like BMX, skateboarding, etc. They do a lot of that. But what this league is going to be is kind of like, in their words, an F1 model of having a global calendar of competitive events.
Okay.
So it'll be like teams that have different extreme sport athletes that will compete against each other and compete for individual points and for team points and award both individual and team prize purses.
Right.
So the X Games said with this is an opportunity to expand their commercial opportunities for the athletes and create kind of more financial stability. I think currently they have different events throughout the year
Mhm.
that are massive, they're major events, but it doesn't give as much opportunity when you kind of have a set calendar of many, many, many events and you're getting a lot of people involved. So Chloe Kim's one of the investors in these. They've raised a good amount of funds. It'll be really cool. I know one of the priorities is getting back to their athletes and making sure that they have a platform to continue building their wealth and their experience in the sport. So really cool there.
Yeah, because I remember growing up watching them. They have a bunch of tentpole events, but that was, like, the one big thing, and then you wouldn't hear about the X Games ever for, like, months and
Mhm.
months on end. So this will be really fun. I think keeping them in the mainstream will make their sport more legitimate. You pay attention to what's in front of you all the time, and the more this is in front of eyeballs, the more little girls wanna be snowboarders and skiers, you know?
Yep.
So I think it's a
Yep.
great way to grow the sport.
Yeah. I'm excited for it.
Going back to where we started, the Olympic trials for swimming, there has been lots of news coming out of this in Indianapolis. For one, I don't know if you guys heard, but they converted Lucas Oil Stadium into a humongous Olympic-sized pool.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
I saw it. It looks incredible. It's a
Yeah.
company. I don't know the name of the company, but they do this. They go and
Is
they
it an
put in
in-ground pool or is it an abo is it
no, it's an above ground pool and they build this whole thing out and then they build platforms. So it looks like it's in ground,
yeah.
but it's very much like above the
The
field,
okay.
built from scratch. They come in, they pump the water in there. Uh,
Yeah.
but it was interesting because we work with somebody who used to swim in college at a very competitive level, and he was telling me that they used to do them at either universities or different venues that had Olympic sized pools, and that not everybody has an Olympic sized pool.
Right.
And as U.S. swimming has gained in popularity because of the likes of Katie Ledecky, because of Michael Phelps, etc., more and more people want to attend the event, the U.S. trials. And
Yeah.
like you said, Gretchen Walsh, who just broke a world record in the trials, those are bringing people in. So they
Yeah.
wanted to expand the amount of folks they could have in, and where else to do that than Lucas Oil Stadium in an NFL stadium? Oh my God, like so
Yeah.
many seats. So
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about Kayla Ledecky. She obviously walked her way into that victory for the 400-meter free, but worldwide, swimmers are catching up, and she has her work cut out for her at the Paris Olympics because Australian swimmer Ariane Titmus, aka the Terminator, which I think is such a baller name. I
yeah,
want
I'd
to
be
be
scared
known
to
as the
go.
Terminator. Are you kidding me? Maybe do I? I don't know, but badass.
If you got it like that,
If I got it, yeah, that's one you can't fake.
no. If you're
You
the Terminator, you're coming to win.
Yeah, and she is coming to win because she's currently the world record holder in the 400-meter freestyle, like the world record holder, and won the gold in Tokyo. And her last race was nearly 3 seconds faster than Katie at the Australian trials for Olympics.
Yeah, so
So,
Miss Ledecky's
maybe
got some work cut out for her,
yep,
but we believe.
highly encourage you guys to tap into the swim section of the Olympics because there's going to be some really good swimmers. And like we mentioned, Gretchen Walsh, her sister Alex Walsh, this is a crazy family tree. They're both in the Olympic trials. Gretchen is only 21 and is at UVA currently swimming on their team. And Alex, I think, just graduated college, and they're both trying to become Olympians. So definitely keep an eye out for them. They are two rising stars on the USA swim team.
In the world of gymnastics, we talked a little bit about them last week, but this one's a little bit different and really cool on the other side of the world, the Eastern Hemisphere. Rifta Lutfi is Indonesia's first gymnast to ever qualify for the Olympics. It was really impressive. They don't even have an Olympic training center for gymnastics in Indonesia.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
also the fact that obviously Indonesia is a very conservative country. And
Hmm.
so of the people that they send to the Olympics, for the most part, it's males. It's very male dominated in the sports that they put resources in. So for her to be able to do this is incredibly impressive. So young to do this, 24. She's
Yeah.
been balling behind the scenes, I would say. Maybe not behind the scenes in Indonesia, but definitely here.
Yeah. Someone to keep out for. I think she's ranked like 52nd in the world, which feels like a very high ranking for someone we've Never heard of. I think the US does such a disservice to international sports. Like, do you remember cricket coming here last week?
Yeah.
No one knew what the hell cricket was. We didn't know who the top player was. Meanwhile, he has millions and millions of followers on Instagram and is like a superstar on the other side of the world. But we are
Yeah.
so locked into our own narrow view of what we think pro sports look like. Do you think do you think someone in Indonesia knows who Christian McCaffrey is? No.
No, absolutely not.
No.
It's
They don't carry me the front of Madden. Like,
actually really interesting because when you think about international soccer, when you think about the national teams that play, or even just the club teams, those are some of the most followed and interacted athletes in the world. So even somebody for us domestically, like LeBron James, obviously LeBron James is a global name,
right.
but in Europe, if you're big on your club team in soccer, you are a global phenomenon. Like you are a
Yeah.
global household name, which we don't have the same reach of. And so it's different. I mean, I'd say we as the US don't necessarily put the spotlight on international, whereas like international sports are more conducive to kind of, I would say, globalism and being spread from
Yeah.
country to country because they do play country to country. Whereas most of our sports are played domestically, NBA and, WNBA soon are an exception because they have Canada. We'll
Mm.
see if leagues start to expand into Mexico as well. But yeah, it's definitely a disservice in a way. I think it's one of those things, especially like we're seeing with women's sports right now. If you put resources and value it,
Right.
people will understand what it is. Nobody here knows what cricket is, but maybe
And
they will.
maybe they will.
A
They
little
could.
tangent. A little
Just
tangent.
like they're gonna learn what gymnastics is in Indonesia.
Yep. Shout out Rifta for
Shout
making it
out.
again.
Some NWSL news. So the league saw its most attended weekend across the league with 110,000 plus people in the stands. Those are big numbers.
Big numbers. People are
They
coming to games. You're
they
going to
all
games. We're
I'm going to
going to games.
games. You gotta go to a game. We
I
gotta get
do. I need to
Bradley to a
pull up.
game.
I gotta pull up to one. They're fun. I mean,
It's a
you
great show.
sounded like you had a great time. It looks so much fun. So
It really was. But unfortunately, like the league is getting all this increased attention and they're still having to deal with these like unfair, essentially gender bias. So the Chicago Red Stars had scheduled a game at their home stadium, SeatGeek Stadium, where they play.
mhm.
And kind of out of nowhere, this music festival called Riot Fest announced that they're moving their music festival to SeatGeek Stadium, where the Red Stars are scheduled to play a home game. And by default, they're kicking the Red Stars out of their own home stadium.
Yeah, it's a punk rock fest.
Okay.
So I won't be there.
Yeah, not my
Oh.
cup of tea, but, like, maybe it's yours, but also, would this ever happen when are we kicking the MLS teams out of their own stadiums? No, because they own it, and, like, that's where they play. But, oh, it's
Yeah.
the women's team and, like, they're leasing the stadium from the men? Fine, we can put in a music festival, like,
Yeah.
no.
I don't know how that happens because you already have an agreement in place, like when you make the schedule, and we just talked to people on our scheduling team.
Yeah,
But
they
when you
block it
make a
out.
schedule, like, but from what it sounds like, it sounded like it was a surprise. They were
Yeah,
like, oh, by the way, no, you guys have a game this day at your stadium that you play at that we scheduled a
right.
game at. But listen, we're gonna bring this punk rock fest in and they're gonna play there. The other thing
Yeah.
that's crazy about that is that like they already had a site, the Riot Fest,
Wait,
that was in
really?
Chicago. Yeah. They moved from their prior site to now SeatGeek Stadium. So interesting in that regard. I know, and again, this is where my confusion is because who does this fall on? Is it the stadium? Is it, I know it's not the Red Stars ownership group.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's on them. They feel like they're in the clear here.
Is it Riot Fest? Because there is a report that Red Stars might seek legal action versus Riot
Oh my
Fest.
gosh.
So is that like, did they outbid them? I don't know how this works, but at the end of the day, it's ridiculous. And like you said, they wouldn't do this to an MLS team.
You're
They
not seeing a baseball team getting kicked out of their stadium for a concert. Like, what?
no,
What's the difference?
no.
It's that it's women's sports and they see it as less valuable. So this one makes me heated because this just feels like
It's a slide.
recess, like on the playground bullying in a
Yeah,
way, you know?
yeah. It's literally like one step forward, two steps back. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? We're showing growth. We're having great attendance, and yet
Hmm.
this is still kind of the treatment that a lot of these teams will get. So
Yeah.
In better news, in the world of racing, which we have not talked about,
Ooh.
but there's a lot going on in racing. This specifically is IndyCar, which is in the US. It's in Indianapolis. It started there at least, hence Indy. Is not NASCAR. And it's not NASCAR because it's open wheeled racing. So if you've seen Cars 2,
I
there's
have
a
seen
guy,
Cars too.
there's a guy named Francesco. Ooh, he talks a lot of shit. He talks a lot of shit to our guy Lightning McQueen.
Okay.
Francesco is an open wheel car.
Oh,
I think Francesco is a Formula One car. Indy cars are very similar. They're very similar. So if you have an idea of what it looks like, it's very similar, right? Whereas a
yeah.
NASCAR is a Lightning McQueen. So think about it like that. Think about
Mm.
IndyCar, Francesco. NASCAR, Lightning McQueen, ka-chow. Anyways,
Good chow.
ka-chow. Anyways, that aside, last week, Jamie Chadwick made history as the first woman to win an Indy Next race since 2010 and is one of 3 women to ever win in the IndyCar Development League. So
Wow.
the Indy Next is a development league for the IndyCar
Okay.
for their main races. But Jamie Chadwick has also just been on the scene and has been super successful. She's a member of the F1 Williams Driver Academy. So this is somebody who's kind of been in racing for a while and
Hmm.
has just broken down these doors. There was a quote when I was reading some of the articles. She's considered the great hope to be the first woman in F1 since Giovanna Amati in 1992.
Man, that would be
So,
incredible to see because F1 is really picking up, and to have Jamie Chadwick be in there, oh
yeah,
my gosh.
yeah. And an American racer. She is phenomenal. That it was huge. And I was reading too. She led every lap.
Oh wow, she had this in the bag from the get-go.
Yeah, yeah. So, and on top of this, like I said, first since 2010, but she is the first and only woman to win a street race, which can differ from other types of races in IndyCar, but is the only woman to win a street race
Wow.
in Indy Next.
Baller.
Big baller, big
We'd
baller.
love to see it.
So hopefully we see her on the grid one day in Formula One. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And we got some more updates for you guys on racing. We're gonna get into some more stories. There's a lot there to unpack, and women have really been making some waves in there. And getting into some more news, the PWHL just held its second ever draft last week, and New York had the first pick, and they chose Sarah Fillier, a forward on 3 Canadian World Championship teams. She played on the U18 team, the U22 team, and the full Canadian women's national team, all in the same year in 2022. And then, icing on the cake, won the gold medal with Team Canada in the Olympics. So
Golly.
if that doesn't make her the first overall pick, I don't know what would. She played her college career at Princeton, was with time.
Boo.
I
Sorry.
mean, yeah,
I'm
boo.
joking.
But
I'm
like,
joking.
we respect, we know this well. Like, to be an athlete at one of these schools is hard. So she was doing all of this playing for Team Canada while still going to Princeton. Like, give her some love.
That's
That's
gotta respect it. Yeah.
what do we got in the dub?
And the W had, I mean, they're in full steam right now. We're about to get into kind of the Olympic break as we head into July,
Hmm.
but there have been so many highlights over the past week. Want to give a big shout out to my favorite team, your favorite team, Ellie's favorite team, the New York Liberty, for beating the Aces. For
Here
beating,
we go.
it was a matchup that was highly anticipated by me, by a lot of people. It was on ESPN.
Why was it highly anticipated?
I'll tell you why, Maggie.
Please do.
Because this was a rematch of last year's finals in which the Liberty lost, sadly.
Ah.
And I was there when they lost, so I take that personally. You know, I was there. I
Mm.
was there. But we got it back in blood. The Liberty beat them 90-82. It was a good game too. It was back
Ooh.
and forth. It was back and forth. But Jonquil Jones, she was the difference maker. JJ, shout out to her. 32 points. 32 points.
Wow.
Got him cooked up. So it was a cool matchup. It's always fun to see the best in the game go at it
Mhm.
versus each other. I mean, Asia Wilson was the finals MVP last year. Breonna Stewart was the MVP last year. So great matchup there. And then for Jonquil Jones to do what she did, drop 32. It's awesome. Another news, Aaliyah Boston, who was a former number 1 overall pick last season, Also played her college ball at South Carolina, one of Dawn Staley's disciples, whatever you want
Mm.
to call them. She had a great game, tied her career high with 27 points the other night, win over the
Wow.
Atlanta Dream. So I'll be honest, I've been one of the people who have been saying maybe she spent too much time broadcasting this summer. You know,
Mm. Yeah.
maybe the fatigue's catching up to her. That was one of the knocks on Aaliyah Boston, was that she wasn't well conditioned.
Right. She
She
wasn't
could
in the
be
gym very
great
much.
for 2 quarters, for a half, but what's she gonna do in the third and the fourth? And
Mm-hmm.
I think earlier this season you saw that a good amount, where she just looked a little gassed.
Mm.
And like I said, I was one of the first people to kind of jump on it and be like, maybe she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't in the gym. She shut me up. I
She
won't.
did.
She
She said,
shut me
"Here's
up.
27 points. Eat that."
She goes, yeah, here's 27 for you.
Your
So
dinner's
Aaliyah Boston,
ready.
I apologize. You can do both. You can do both.
Women can do it all, Joshua. Come
You
on.
really can. And that's on me. And then lastly, this was really recent, but the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese rivalry,
Woo.
obviously a big deal. LSU Iowa, now in the WNBA, finally revitalized. I won't even say they've been going at it. They have not necessarily been
The
going at
media has been
it.
making them go at it.
The media has been, yeah, you said it. But we finally get to see them play against each other in the WNBA, and it did not disappoint. They played great against each other. There was a hard foul that was a flagrant one, Angel Reese on Caitlin Clark. Again, media blew it up.
Mm.
Don't think it was a big deal.
It's competition. You're
It's
gonna get some
competition.
knocks here and there.
Angel was going for the ball, in my opinion. She knocked Caitlin on the face. It is what it is.
Yeah.
CC ended up getting the best of Angel in the sky. Fever won 91-83. So the Fever look like they're gaining some steam. They've won a couple games in the past weeks,
All right.
but we'll see kind of how they continue to go and how the rest of the season goes. But the WNBA is in full swing right now, and it's exciting.
As always, thank you guys so much. Make sure to give us a follow on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Throw us a little rating, 5 stars is great, but whatever you think is honest, let us know. We'd love to hear your feedback. Also hit us on Instagram at Mixed Doubles Pod. That's 1D, the mix and the doubles, share it. We're posting more video content. We got more news updates for you. If you want to just be in the know for all things women's sports, follow us. We know what we're doing.
If it's not an honest 5, don't give it to us.
Lie.
It's a 5. It's a 5. No. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace.